You've spent your whole life trying to make people happy. You've smiled when you were dying inside. You've apologized for things that weren't your fault. You've bent until you almost broke just to keep the peace. But here's the truth no one dares to tell you. The world doesn't reward the people who please everyone. It rewards the people who respect themselves enough to say no. They told you to be nice, to be humble, to be giving. And yes, kindness has its place. But when kindness becomes self-sacrifice, it turns into weakness. People don't value those who constantly serve. They value those who hold their power, who know their worth, and who don't give it away cheaply. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He studied power, manipulation, and human behavior not to destroy humanity, but to expose it. He saw how easily people surrender their strength in exchange for approval. And he warned us, you live to please others, you will die in silence. The first law is simple. Never sacrifice your peace for someone else's comfort. Every time you say yes when your heart screams no, you betray yourself. You train people to believe that your energy is free. You teach them that your time has no price. Peace is power, and once you give it away, you become a slave to chaos. Protect your peace like a kingdom. It is not selfish, it is survival. When you begin to value peace over approval, people will notice. Some will call you cold, some will call you arrogant. But what they really mean is they can no longer control you. And that's when true respect begins, not when you please everyone, but when you finally stop. The second law, the unpredictable predictability makes you weak. When people can predict your behavior, they can manipulate you. They know what to say, what to do, how to trigger you. But unpredictability creates mystery, and mystery breeds respect. It's the silence before a storm. The pause before a move no one expects. Keep them guessing. Never let your next step be obvious. You don't owe anyone your transparency. The more people know about your emotions, your fears, your plans, the easier it is for them to use them against you. Machiavelli taught that those who reveal everything end up powerless. So hold something back. Be kind, but never fully open your hand. The third law, stop apologizing for setting boundaries. You're not rude for saying no. You're not cruel for protecting your space. Weak people confuse boundaries with aggression because they've benefited from your lack of them. Every no you say is a declaration of self-respect. Apologies are for mistakes, not for decisions that protect your soul. If someone truly values you, they will honor your boundaries. If they don't, then you've learned who never deserved access to you in the first place. Remember, boundaries are not walls, they are gates, and you hold the key. The fourth law, control your emotions. Never let others see you react. The one who controls emotion controls the situation. People will push you to react because emotional chaos gives them leverage. But power lives in silence, in restraint, in the pause before the storm. When you react, they own your energy. When you stay calm, they lose control. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them, it means directing them. Anger can destroy, but it can also fuel. Pain can weaken, but it can also sharpen. Channel your emotions into strategy, not surrender. And this brings us to the fifth law. Use silence as your weapon. Silence makes people uncomfortable. They crave responses, validation, reassurance. When you stay silent, they project their fears into the space you leave. They begin to overthink. They reveal more than they should. Powerful people understand this. The moment you stop explaining yourself, your presence grows heavier. You stop chasing understanding and start commanding attention. Silence speaks volumes. It says, I know what I'm worth, and I don't need to prove it. Machiavelli said, he who knows when to speak and when to remain silent holds the key to influence. The loudest voice rarely wins, it's the quiet one that unsettles the room. The sixth law flows naturally from this. Distance creates respect, don't be too available. Constant availability destroys value. When you're always present, people stop noticing your presence. Absence, used wisely, makes them realize your worth. Power requires scarcity. Your time, your attention, your energy, they are precious currencies. Spend them wisely. and people will treat them as treasure. When you pull back, they chase. When you vanish, they wonder. It's not manipulation, it's the nature of human psychology. What is always within reach is taken for granted. What is rare is desired. The moment you stop showing up everywhere, people start looking for you. You've been trained to believe that being everywhere, doing everything, helping everyone is noble. But the truth is, constant giving drains you until there's nothing left. Create distance, create mystery, and watch respect return to your doorstep. The seventh law flows like a shadow after distance. Make your presence valuable, not constant. When you finally appear, let it mean something. Every word, every glance, every action should carry weight. The crowd talks endlessly, the powerful speak rarely. But when they do, people lean in. Your value doesn't come from how often you show up, it comes from how deeply you affect the room. When you do, people remember the one who leaves an imprint, not the one who never leaves. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must be both feared and loved, but never ignored. When your presence is constant, you fade into background noise. When it is deliberate, you become unforgettable. Learn the rhythm of appearing and withdrawing. Let people miss your energy. Let absence sharpen their curiosity. Power lives in anticipation, the silence before your return. The eighth law follows naturally. Protect your time like treasure. Time is the currency of life, and most people spend it like pocket change. They give it to anyone who asks. They waste it on conversations that go nowhere, on people who drain them, on habits that dull the mind. But once time is gone, no power, no wealth, no prayer can bring it back. Every yes you give steals a moment from your purpose. Every distraction delays your evolution. Guard your hours the way a king guards his throne. Schedule solitude. Create focus. Say no to what does not serve your vision. Machiavelli understood that a ruler who loses track of time loses control of the kingdom. The ninth law is the heartbeat of them all. Choose self-respect over temporary approval. Approval is an addiction. It feels good for a moment, then fades, leaving you hungry for more. You post, you please, you perform, hoping someone will validate your worth. But respect, once earned through strength and boundaries, stays. It roots itself in the way people speak your name when you're not around. The path to self-respect is lonely at first. When you stop chasing applause, the crowd disappears. But silence is not abandonment. It's purification. The noise leaves so you can hear your own voice again. And when you begin living by that inner voice, people will sense it. They may not like it, but they will respect it. The 10th law, the crown of all the others. Putting yourself first isn't selfish, it's strategic. The world tells you that self-priority is arrogance, that humility means shrinking, that love means losing yourself. But Machiavelli would laugh at that. He knew that those who neglect themselves become tools for others. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. You cannot lead from weakness. You cannot give if you are broken. Putting yourself first means mastering your mind, feeding your body, guarding your peace, refining your craft. It means becoming so whole that when you give, it's from overflow, not from depletion. The selfish take without giving. The strong fill themselves so completely that giving costs them nothing. This is the paradox of power. The more you respect yourself, the more others benefit from your presence. When you operate from strength, your kindness carries authority. Your generosity has weight. Your love becomes a gift, not a bargain. So stop apologizing for growing. Stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. Stop shrinking to fit into small spaces that cannot hold your greatness. Power is not domination. It's direction. It's knowing who you are and refusing to hand that truth to anyone else. Machiavelli taught that every human interaction is a negotiation of power. Even love, even friendship, even faith. You either give your power away or you manage it wisely. Most people lose it because they are afraid to appear selfish. But selfishness is excess. Self-priority is balance. You are the foundation of every relationship you will ever have. Neglect yourself, and the structure collapses. Look back at your life, the times you felt used, ignored, invisible. What do they all have in common? You placed others on a pedestal and knelt before them. You gave away your peace, your time, your voice. But the moment you rise, everything changes. The same people who took advantage of you begin to watch in silence. They can no longer reach where you stand. Power doesn't scream, it radiates. It's in your posture, your tone, your decision to walk away when something no longer serves your purpose. It's the quiet confidence that doesn't seek validation because it is validation. When you stop pleasing others, you stop living their stories and start writing your own. You stop begging for seats at tables that were never built for you and start building your own kingdom on desks. One boundary, one act of self-respect at a time. When you start living by these laws, something strange happens. The world begins to resist you. The same people who once praised your kindness will whisper that you have changed. They'll say you've become selfish, distant, cold. But what they really mean is that you have stopped being easy to control. At first, you'll feel guilt. That's the residue of years spent equating approval with love. But stay still inside that discomfort. It's the sound of your old self dying. Every transformation begins with a little mourning. You are not losing goodness. You are shedding compliance. You are reclaiming the authority you once gave away in exchange for being liked. Machiavelli wrote that appearances rule the world, but substance sustains it. When you stop seeking to please, you begin to live with substance. Your words weigh more. Your silence intimidates. Your choices echo. You no longer chase belonging. You command it. People sense when someone moves from need to purpose. It unsettles them because they can't explain it. You'll notice how the dynamics around you shift. The friend who always needed something stops calling. The colleague who depended on your constant help grows distant. Don't chase them. They were never drawn to you. They were drawn to your availability. When the energy source dries up, parasites leave. Let them. You're not here to feed everyone. You're here to build something eternal. Slowly, respect replaces attachment. Instead of being invited everywhere, you'll be remembered everywhere. The spaces you once filled with constant presence will now echo with your absence. And that echo will carry more influence than your old exhaustion ever did. There's another lesson Machiavelli hinted at between his lines. Power attracts imitation. When you begin to value yourself, others will mimic your boundaries, your calm, your focus. They might not credit you, but they'll feel your impact. The energy of one disciplined soul can shift an entire circle. You'll start to see life like a chessboard. Every interaction becomes a move, every silence a strategy. You'll learn to read motives rather than words. You'll realize that most flattery hides intent, that most kindness expects return. But instead of growing bitter, you'll grow wise. Wisdom doesn't reject humanity. It simply stops expecting purity from it. This is the maturity Machiavelli spoke of, the moment when you see people as they are, not as you wish they were, and you act accordingly. You give when you choose, not when you're coerced. You forgive without reopening doors. You help without losing yourself. And then, one morning, you'll wake up lighter. The anxiety that used to accompany every decision will be gone. You'll no longer rehearse conversations in your head, wondering how to keep everyone happy. You'll say what you mean, walk where you belong, and let silence handle the rest. That's real freedom, the freedom to exist without justification. Understand this. The world is built on exchange. Every favor, every compliment, every alliance carries a price. Those who don't understand the cost end up paying with their peace. But when you know your value, the exchange becomes equal. You stop giving discounts on your worth. You stop negotiating with disrespect. Machiavelli's laws aren't about cruelty, they're about clarity. They strip away illusions so you can see how human nature operates. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You recognize manipulation before it reaches you. You read intention in tone, power in silence, and weakness in excess kindness. Soon, you'll notice the difference between love and dependency. Love empowers, dependency drains. You'll prefer solitude over shallow connections. You'll discover that peace isn't found in applause, but in alignment. You'll no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. Your presence will do that on its own. And when people come to test your resolve because they will, you won't need to fight. You'll simply step aside. Machiavelli believed the most effective defense is to become untouchable, not by armor, but by indifference to noise. When approval loses its grip on you, manipulation dies. That's when true strength emerges, the calm dominance that doesn't demand recognition yet commands it naturally. You'll stand still while others scramble for validation, and they'll sense something different about you, something magnetic and unexplainable. That is what self-priority looks like when it matures into power. And then, in the quiet that follows all this transformation, you begin to understand what putting yourself first truly means. It isn't arrogance, it's order. It's the moment when your inner world stops being a public playground. It's when you finally see that your mind, your time, and your peace are sacred ground and not everyone deserves entry. You stop needing to explain your decisions. You no longer chase closure because silence is closure. You stop trying to make everyone like you because you've learned that approval is fragile and respect is eternal. When you choose yourself, you attract those who value authenticity. The rest drift away like smoke in the wind. Machiavelli said a prince must learn how not to be good, by which he meant that survival sometimes demands firmness disguised as selfishness. You start to see how this applies not only to rulers, but to every person who wishes to steer their own life. To live with purpose, you must sometimes withdraw mercy from those who misuse it. You must conserve your kindness for the worthy, or it loses its power. This is the final transformation, the shift from seeking love to embodying strength. You become the one others look to for direction, not because you demand it, but because your clarity demands attention. You speak less, but when you do, your words carry weight. You walk away faster, but never in anger, only in certainty. People will come and go. Some will call you selfish, others will call you wise, but you will no longer care about names or labels. You will have something more valuable: freedom. Freedom from guilt, from fear, from the endless chase for validation. You will move with quiet confidence, untouched by noise, unbothered by judgment. You'll learn that life doesn't reward those who bend, it rewards those who build. You will stop begging to be chosen and start choosing yourself every morning. You will fill your own cup and let the overflow touch others. You will realize that pleasing everyone was never your purpose. It was your distraction. And when you look back, you'll see how far you've come. Every no you said built a wall of strength around your peace. Every boundary you set created space for your real self to breathe. Every time you walked away, you didn't lose anyone, you found yourself. This is the essence of Machiavelli's wisdom, stripped of its reputation for cruelty and revealed for what it truly is: the art of self-governance. To rule a kingdom, you must first rule your own spirit. To command others, you must first command your impulses. To influence the world, you must first master the battlefield within. And so, you step into a new life. You are calmer, clearer, stronger. You don't chase things come to you. You don't explain, truth speaks for you. You don't fear being alone because solitude has become your fortress, not your punishment. From now on, your peace is your power. Your boundaries are your crown. Your silence is your weapon. You are no longer the servant of everyone else's comfort. You are the guardian of your own kingdom. When you put yourself first, the world does not end, it finally begins to revolve in the right order. You stop orbiting around people who never noticed your light, and you become the sun of your own system. Everything that's meant for you starts to move within that gravity. So walk tall, speak less, feel deeply, act deliberately. Live by these laws not as armor, but as guidance. The point isn't to harden, it's to clarify, to see the world clearly, to move through it wisely, and to never again lose yourself in the name of being liked. Machiavelli taught power. You are learning balance. He wrote, for princes you are becoming one, not by title, but by temperament, not by domination, but by discipline. Stop pleasing others. Stand in your own authority. And watch how, when you truly belong to yourself, the world begins to respect you the way it always should have. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.